Yeah, Pochettino is the new manager of Chelsea. Chelsea fans, you can have your sound at 03717 223344. Just before we talk about the job he's got in front of him at Chelsea, how will Spurs fans feel about Pochettino now? That a lot of them wanted him back. He was at the club, I think, 4 years? 5 years he was at Spurs. A lot of Spurs fans idolised him, loved him, were desperate for him to come back. Maybe that was one of the reasons that if Harry Kane was going to stay, that might be at the top of the list. But either way, he's now gone to Chelsea, and Spurs and Chelsea don't get on. How will Spurs fans feel about that?
I think they'll be all right. Of course, there'll be a little bit of hurt because he's gone to one of their rivals, as you said. But at the same time, Spurs had more than enough time to get the deal done. Now, I don't think a lot of that anger will be vented at Pochettino. I think it'll be vented at Daniel Levy, because the moment they sacked Antonio Conte, right, what are we doing? Who are we going to bring in? I always thought it was a done deal that he would go back to Spurs after Conte left. And the fact that it took him this long and they still haven't found the manager, they haven't brought him back, I think a lot of the Spurs fans will say, well, what was Pochettino supposed to do? Wait for a call that was supposedly never ever going to come, or take a job in Chelsea? And I don't think there'd be any hatred or any kind of bitterness towards Pochettino. I think they'll aim it all at Daniel Levy, because he could have got this done a long time ago. When you spend that amount of money, and they're probably going to go again with 100 million plus, that has to be the minimum. I mean, it's usually top four used to be. That wasn't even enough. Like, you need to bring a trophy with that. If you finish, I don't know, top four and there's no silverware at the end of it, off you go.
Yeah. So we've seen managers do the double and go.
Exactly. So, but I think for this season with Pochettino, if they're going to give him time and let him rebuild, top four has to be an absolute minimum, because the owner will say, I've spent all this money, I want to see some kind of progression.
So how much pressure is he under to begin with? So Chelsea finished season 12. Right? It was appalling. I think their worst ever season in the Premier League, right? How much time will he be given? Because a lot needs to be done with the group of players. You said they're going to spend probably more money. More are going to leave the club so they can balance the books, you would expect. How much time has he got? Let's say, for argument's sake, you get to Christmas and they're 6th and 7th.
No, if they're still within touching distance, I don't think there'll be any kind of pressure. He'll know in himself that how big this job is, because we've seen, as I said, we've seen better managers go to Chelsea and fail, haven't we? Better than Pochettino. And listen, I like Poch, but we've seen better managers go there and it not work out and then get the chop. So he'll understand the kind of pressure he's under. But I think, as Jason said there, when you look at the squad and some of the players that they've got, they shouldn't be 12. Come on. Like, they've got World Cup winners in their squad. They've got players that have played key roles, won big trophies, have played at the highest level of the game, underachieving. Pochettino's got to get them players to dig deep inside themselves and pull out that quality that they've got.
Because they've got so many new players at their club, and because quite a few of them are on long-term deals, will he be able to pick and choose who he wants? Will he be able to build his own team?
Yeah, of course.
You think so?
Yeah, of course he will.
So if he looks at Enzo Fernandez, who's got an 8-year deal, and he goes, he's just not for me.
Did he be sitting there for 7.5 years? 7 years.
You think he'll be allowed to do that?
100%. There's no way. I
don't know if he will.
Poch would not have taken this job if the owner or whoever's behind the scenes went, do you know what? We've spent a lot of money on him. He will play.
Right.
Because Poch would just turn around and go, no.
Well, you said it, but I don't believe for 1 minute that Antonio Conte will ever agreed with Levy. I don't believe that was what transpired throughout his relationship with the club. I reckon Antonio Conte was given promises that weren't followed through.
Well, he still spent a bit of money, but I think Pochettino coming into this job and looking at his resume and what he's done, building squads, making teams competitive, I can't see. If he says, listen, I know you spent a lot of money on Enzo Fernandez, but trust me, if you want Chelsea to get back to where we know we can be, then you're going to have to let me manage your squad, and that might mean me having to leave out Enzo Fernandez, Mudryk, people like that.
But isn't that then full control, which is something that Todd Bowley doesn't seem to be able to...
Not full control, but they've got to allow him to make some kind of decisions. Or Todd Bowley might as well just manage.
So, okay, what are the 3 things you think he needs to do as soon as he comes into the club?
Well, the 3 things, one of them is himself, and another thing are the 2 others with the squad.
Okay.
So the first thing, he's got to be ruthless. I think that's really important. He can't go into that squad and be a yes man. He's got to go in there and go, right, you, and you. I'm not having you, you're not playing. So I think that's the first thing he's got to be, is ruthless. Right. Second thing, he's got to trim the squad. And they've got way too many players, and there's so much money they can generate, like of Loftus-Cheek, Hudson-Odoi. Maybe Mason Mount. They've got so many players there. Obviously, João Felix is not coming back. They've got that Kai Havertz. They've got that many players.
What do you do with Lukaku?
That's the thing. So that's the second one, is to trim the squad. And the number 1 priority for Chelsea is to get a striker.
Get one, or make good with the one they've got.
If they're going to bring back Lukaku and he's going to play, get the best out of him. If he's not the answer, sell him and bring in who you do want. But they don't need someone posing like Kai Havertz as a centre forward. They need a centre forward.
Do you think they have a chance because they have Pochettino of getting Harry Kane?
I think that all comes down to Harry Kane. It's whether Harry Kane can stand up and go, you know what, I'm strong enough to take the criticism I'm going to get and go and play for Chelsea. That's what it comes down to. If Chelsea go, here's the 120 million, it then comes up to Harry Kane. Are you kind of big enough, strong enough to go, you know what? I'll make that walk across the divide.
I don't think he should be big enough.
You think you should do it?
No, I don't think you should go anywhere near that club.
Why?
Because he's Spurs. Spurs legend. You'd never get
Campbell.
Drogba going to Spurs.
Sol Campbell.
That's different.
He was a legend.
Yeah, you're right. But you wouldn't get Drogba going to Spurs.
You say that, but look at some of the... Look in world football, right? We've seen some of the biggest players ever.
We've seen Figo do both. I know it.
No, but R9.
Yeah.
Played for AC and Inter.
Yeah.
Played for Real and Barca.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You're
it
right.
happens.
You're right. I just think Harry Kane's not like that. I think Harry Kane enjoys a quiet life.
So you're saying he's too nice?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, well, fair. Then
that's not a bad thing, by the way.
But then he'll stay where he is.
Maybe he'll go Man United.
Yeah, but again, he's not guaranteed to win anything there. That's the only place in the Premier. You have to be honest. Man City. That's the only team.
Yeah, of course.
And he's not going to go there.
If he was a Man United player this year, he would have already won the League Cup and might win the FA Cup.
100%. But it's whether Harry Kane's man enough to go, do you know what, I'm going to do this.
talkSPORT Drive with Andy Goldstein. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.